So, Race, you took first place tonight, went undefeated.
This girl right here.
You ready to show off your deck?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you some of the combos and how they work in combination with the rest of the cards.
All right.
Alright, so the one-ofs, Black Moonbeam, Death Scythe, Interdimensional Apollo, Horn of the Sacred Beast, Heavenly Gust, and Adam Brawley, and Theft. So, Horn of the Sacred Beast is really good because you can make Fox's, you can knock Fox's resonators back into their deck so they can't go into their combos with Lele's Petal Assistant. Interdimensional Apollo is really good because you can both banish to return to your hand. It also gives your J-Ruler flying, which Lumia sadly does not have flying, but has swiftness. Death Scythe because it stops, it makes imperishable. It's also discardable with Guinevere, and I'll show you a combo initiated with that. Black Moonbeam because it's the answer to every ruler. Heavenly Gust because Heavy Regalias. Play decks. This just wrecks them silly. I only run one Adam Brawley because it's searchable from Messenger, and I only run one Nyotep because that is one card I never want in hand. Don't ask. The combo doesn't work as well with Lumia if I have these in hand because they just clog my hand. So that's the one-ups. Oh boy. Okay, two Messenger Familiar. I only run two because honestly the only search target in here is Nidhogg and Adam Brawley, and I run Interdimensional Gil Lapis to also add those Apostles to my hand so I can go into more combos. Three Wall of Winds because it's Wall of Wind. This card is ridiculous if you're going first. You could go first into a elf and then play the elf, and then on your opponent's turn they try and cast something and you're just like, nope. Three Levitate. I was running four, but I figured out three works a lot better because it's a really good target to banish these dudes to get their effects off if you don't have Guinevere or you don't have Tama or anything. I don't really use Tama for that, but yeah, it's just another combo. It also is a buff to her, and I can always discard the Add Fire. Not that I ever use that either. So, four Tama. MVP. This card is absolutely amazing. You draw, and then you can banish to deal freaking 200 damage to whatever little dudes. It helps against Guiber Turbo. It helps against Lele's Petal. It helps against a lot of decks that just run like little dudes. So, four Sacred Elf. Honestly, this card gets killed more often than it not, but it helps me ramp into my combos, and it helps me ramp into my extra deck, which I'll show you here in a bit. It's the Mana Dork, so four Melfi. I run four Melfi because Melfi is both a torrent to prevent damage and also is really good with ramping into my extra deck. It also helps ramp into this because this does have a high cost resonator. Nidhogg is a 6-drop, and if you don't get your interdimensional off, you can always just go off with these guys. And they're not hittable by lightning strike and whatnot because they save me for that one damage. I run three Rook Egg because the only red resonators I run are Nyotep, Naya. I run three Rook Eggs, three Guinevere, so there's really only 7 targets for Rook Egg to hit. I run, believe it or not, 3 Guinevere. I just found it's more consistent. I don't need all that much draw power because I have Tama, and it's searchable by Rook Egg, and I can use Leviathan to banish off Rook Egg. So I can search Guinevere to get my draw power. So it's nice because there's other pieces I want into my hand. The MVP in the combo of the deck is, oh gosh, cards going everywhere. Come back, Elf. This guy, Interdimensional Monarch Gil Lapis. I run 4. And then I run 3 of the big dragon, Nidhogg, the Dimension Dragon. The combo with him is, so you go into Monarch Gil Lapis, you search Dimensional Dragon Nidhogg, and then you shift him next turn. And what it does is it puts him into play and gives him swiftness, and you have to remove it from the game at the end of the turn. Lumia's effect abuses this fact because when he enters the field, of course, you banish off half your opponent's resonators, but you get to do it a second time because you swing for 12, Why not do anything that had no resonators? So you're going to use Lumia's ability to return it to the field, and you get to choose how the triggers happen. So you do it before the space-time effect goes off, because you choose how it ends in the end phase. Now another combo is going, playing this dude, leaving him, playing him for his shift form to shift him to play Nidhogg, so you have a 1,000 beat stick on the field. So you end up doing 2,200 indefinitely. Yep. And now I'll show you the sideboard and the reason I built the deck the way I did. So give me 1 sec, shift these dudes back.
The reason why you're flying doesn't work anyways, they block it.
Maybe. They don't want to shift back. Love the artwork on that. I wish that was the full art, to be honest. The other one looks dumb.
It's too bad they aren't both full arts.
Yeah, that would be actually really cool, like the new ones.
Yeah.
Like the rulers and whatnot. I think all shifts should have been like ruler full arts. Alright, so the sideboard. 3 Prison of the Lunar Lake. Hook is a real thing. Hook hurts a lot of decks, and this also can stop Lily's Petal, but it's more of a hook saver. And anything that enters from the non-field zone is really good for canceling. Chance standby, so you can play it face down for 2, and then when the trigger activates, or you can play it at instant speed for 3. So I run 1 Guardian Angel because here at our locals we have a tree player, and this wrecks tree because if you have this on board and you go for the attack for tree, its activate ability can't activate. It also stops a lot of people, like stops Lily's Petal from activating during your turn. Problem is it is light, and if you, as you'll notice in my mana I don't really run any light, so it's really from Melfi and stuff like that. I run 1 Red Boy because Red Boy is a mass removal card, and the sideboard setup is 4 Hook, 4 Deepwood, and 4 Heartscore. What I do is I take out all the dark out of that deck, and I'll side in all this, minus this, and I'll play a Hook Rand. And it will throw my opponent off for the most part if I need to go against something like Fox, or if I need to go against something like Soul, or another Lumia deck. Because if you get Hook off turn 3, your opponent is gone. And as you'll notice in the feature match, I ended up hooking the same person 5 times in a row. They had no stones. I felt bad. Honestly, Hook is a douchebag. So that's the combo piece with that. The mana I run for the main deck is I run 1 First Flight's Memoria for that extra light if I need to, and also the J-Rule Lumia. I don't really J-Rule her all that much. 4 Black Silence, 3 Scorched Bells, and 3 Blasting Waves. Blasting, when I go into my sideboard, I side out D6. And then I put these in the place. That way I have the blue for Hook, and I can ramp in easily. So yeah, that's my deck profile.
Sweet. Looks like it's pretty nasty.
Yeah, you played against it.
You're right, I did. And I also watched the feature match too, so it was pretty mean. Any last comments you want to say about it?
Honestly, this card should not be in the meta, but it does help control, and honestly, I don't know. I still feel like it's cancer. But against Fox, which is the best deck right now, it's a much needed thing because Fox is one of the hardest matchups. So.
Definitely. All right. So that's the Lumia deck, built to be 2 different decks.
Oh yeah, and the decks I played against was we only had 4 people sadly this time, but it was first round Wukong. And Wukong didn't do a whole lot against me. It did kind of hurt that I couldn't play my Regalias for 0, but I just out-tempoed him way too hard. I got that little combo off with double Gil Lapis and Nidhogg. And then my second match was against you, funny enough. And it was Soul. And Soul likes to burn you a lot, I noticed.
Yeah.
And if I didn't get the Nidhogg combo off and swing in, that would have hurt. And I wanted to hook the second game, but I didn't get to hook until turn 5, which is usually when I turn 3 it. And then my third one was Lumia. And first game, I just completely annihilated him. Second game, I made some misplays that I honestly won't do again. I abused Hook because of my opponent's Moojards, stopping my hooks from attacking. So my opponent had no stones, so that was pretty fun, and he just conceded after a while.
Definitely. And that is the feature match, which you can also see on another video
On SFG.
on SFG.
Yeah, on
SF Gaming?
Games. Yeah,
SF Games.
It's Josh.
So-
It's Josh. So yeah, that's it.
All right.